The Galactic Empire had long known Earth was dangerous. The Council didn't talk about it in public forums, but privately, in war rooms and encrypted vaults, Earth was a problem that wouldn't go away. It didn't act like other planets. Didn't bow. Didn't break. When the Empire expanded into Sector 19, Earth refused entry. When ambassadors arrived, Earth sent them back with black eyes and encrypted warnings. Not threats. Warnings. They didn't share their technology, didn't ask for assistance, didn't accept treaties. But the worst part was that they didn't retaliate either. Not directly. When the Empire destroyed 3 human freighters near the Argoni Rift, Earth didn't file grievances. The ships had no flags, no IDs, nothing official. Earth said nothing. But 1 month later, an entire Imperial mining colony collapsed from internal sabotage. No evidence. No claim. Just silence. That's what made Earth terrifying. Silence. Most planets screamed when hurt. Earth waited. Studied. Adapted. When Riley was captured on Imperial border world Cernax 4, no one thought it would matter. She looked young. Not a soldier. Not a diplomat. Just another human trespasser. The Empire's local commander, Rolf Vellner, had spent years fighting rebel skirmishes. He saw Earth as a myth blown out of proportion. One human girl was not a threat. She was interrogated, searched, scanned. Her file contained nothing. No implants. No weapons. Just a standard Neuralink, outdated and non-transmitting. When asked why she was there, she said, "Wrong ship, wrong vector." When asked if she knew where she was, she smiled. Yes. And when asked why she didn't resist arrest, she replied, "You really don't want to do this." The broadcast was scheduled 3 days later. It was meant to demonstrate imperial justice. She was accused of espionage, unauthorized planetary entry, and data smuggling. No trial. No defense. 7 rounds from a plasma lance tore through her chest and abdomen while 1 million citizens watched the stream. Her body hit the platform, bled out, and was confirmed dead. Vital monitors flatlined. Crowd cheered. Propaganda distributed. And Earth said nothing. Commanders waited for retaliation. Nothing came. No ships. No threats. Not even silence this time. Just the usual static. Border outposts resumed normal patrols. For 7 hours, the Empire believed it had finally proved its dominance. The girl was never named. Her body was disposed of in a biodisintegration pit outside the city perimeter. 7 hours later, orbital sensors detected an unauthorized landing. A small vessel, no transponder. No weapons, no heat signatures. It descended through Cernax IV's upper atmosphere undetected by patrol craft, breaking stealth protocols without triggering alarms. It landed precisely on the site of the execution stage. Scout teams were sent. The ship was empty. Scans showed nothing inside. It was cold, unpowered. They swept the area, found nothing, began to return. Then came the alert. Sector 3 perimeter breach. 1 human signature. Alive. When they arrived, they found her. She was standing. She looked the same. Same torn clothing. Same plasma burns. But no blood. No wounds. No explanation. She said nothing as the soldiers surrounded her, weapons raised. Her eyes scanned the perimeter. No panic. No emotion. And then she looked at Commander Vellner, stepped forward, and whispered a single name. He flinched. She collapsed. She was taken to medical custody immediately, under maximum guard. Scan reports flooded with contradictions. She was biologically dead, but conscious. Her organs were regrown, but bore no synthetic markers. Her DNA had changed, subtle alterations, almost like a reboot. And the name, she said, it wasn't just a name. It was a keyword. Rolf Vellner left the medical bay pale. He didn't speak. He locked himself in his command chamber and pulled files from Imperial Red Archives, sections not accessed in over 2 decades. The keyword wasn't common. It was classified above top secret. The few who knew it whispered it as a ghost story. Revenant. The file was fragmented, purged years ago. But what remained painted the shape of a myth that had never quite died. He was never officially born. No birth record. No academy graduation. No recorded kill count. The Empire only knew him through the aftermath of his presence. A rebel fleet in the Tenari cluster, wiped out without a single trace of engagement. An assassination plot on the Terran High Chancellor. Neutralized without a shot fired. He operated without a team, without support, and seemingly without physics. The Empire tried to kill him once. Deployed an entire battalion. The outpost was found 3 weeks later. Burned from the inside out. No survivors. And on the wall, carved in carbon scoring, were 3 words. I warned you. That operation was erased. Not hidden, erased. Top brass sign-off on it. They agreed never to provoke that kind of ghost again. Until now, within 1 hour of Riley's return, 2 orbital satellites stopped transmitting. Not destroyed, reoriented to face empty space. Internal sensors locked out. Auto repair systems triggered failure sequences. At the same time, a long-range communications tower received a ping. Unknown signature, 7 digits, Riley 77. They shut down the tower, manually. The signal kept broadcasting. Empire Command debated evacuation. Most assumed it was Earth's retaliation. But no fleets arrived. No planetary weapons were fired. Only silence again. And then Sector 12 blacked out. Every soldier, every technician, gone. Equipment intact. No damage. No alarms. Just missing. The logs were last accessed by someone using an Earth military hash code that hadn't been used in 21 years. Panic spread. Orders were given to secure Riley. But the medbay was already empty. She was gone. No camera saw her leave. No door logs were triggered. Her biometric implant vanished. No trace of the girl remained. Only the same drops of blood she left in the corridor where she first appeared. And then the messages started. Fleet Command received an untraceable packet. Just one line. You shot a child. Followed by coordinates to the Imperial Communications bunker. That bunker exploded 6 minutes later. Not from orbit, from inside, with enough precision to cut the power grid, but leave the structure standing. Another message came. You open the door. High Command tried to cover it up, called it terrorist action. But in 3 more hours, 5 more bases suffered total data loss. Not attacks, erasures. Entire systems wiped mid-transmission. Not hacked, accessed. The worst came when the diplomatic corps tried to contact Earth. No response. But one of the envoys received a package. Physical, sealed in Terran steel. Inside was a single item. A bullet, not plasma. Not charged. An old-style kinetic slug. Primitive, etched with one word in ancient Terran English. Remember. The name Revenant spread again, this time uncontrollably. Lower officers began deserting. Civilian sectors heard rumors. Human agents claimed it was impossible. Revenant was a legend, an exaggeration, a Boogeyman from the old wars. He wasn't real, and then one of them went missing. 3 more followed. Their last messages said the same thing. He's not after Earth's enemies. He's after ours. Every Empire personnel connected to Riley's death began dying, not with violence, vanishing. No blood, no remains. Gone. Families disappeared. Assets burned. Dossiers scrubbed. One by one. Precisely. Without a trace. The first confirmed sign of his presence came 13 hours after the girl's return. An Empire garrison on Zenthra Prime stopped reporting. The outpost had 243 trained personnel, 3 orbital platforms, and 2 anti-stealth sentry grids. All systems went dark simultaneously. Initial scans showed no atmospheric disturbances, no explosions. When the Empire's quick response team arrived, they found all personnel dead. No wounds. No struggle. No weapons discharged. They were all seated in their original positions, eyes wide open. Every screen displayed a single phrase in dead Terran binary. This was mercy. Security footage was missing, not deleted, disintegrated. The backup core was found fused, not by heat, but by reprogramming-induced overload. None of their AI could comprehend how it happened. The Central Command relay received the transmission hours later. A video, 7 seconds long. Just static. Then a whispering voice distorted beyond recognition, repeating the same word. Revenant. The Boogeyman had not attacked. He had demonstrated. The Empire responded by deploying the Phalanx elites, bio-augmented death squads used for planetary suppression. They were given full freedom, classified locations, and orders to terminate with extreme prejudice. No contact was made for 36 hours. When they were finally located, it was by a passing civilian freighter that picked up a silent emergency beacon. The squad's command ship was found floating near a radiation cluster. All 18 crew members were still inside, stripped of armor, weapons melted into the floor, bodies untouched. Each one held a photo in their lap, a printed image of Riley smiling. Same expression, same pose. All prints were chemically identical. Despite there being no photographic equipment on board, the Imperial Council initiated containment protocols. Border gates were sealed. Trade was halted. Any known human vessels were denied entry or fired upon, but the fear had already begun to rot the structure from within. The Boogeyman wasn't targeting ships or fleets. He was choosing his victims like a scalpel, not a hammer. The communications minister of Cernax was found in his private estate, having suffered a complete nervous breakdown. All security systems had been disabled for precisely 19 minutes. He claimed someone walked into his home, sat across from him, and recited a list of every decision he had ever made, classified, secret, even thoughts he hadn't spoken aloud. At the end of it, the visitor simply stood, whispered, "You were warned," and left. No recordings, no proof. But the minister was dead within the week. Heart failure, no trauma. Planetary governors began resigning. Military officials went into hiding. The Boogeyman had not yet touched the core systems, but the outer rim was decaying fast. Entire outposts began falsifying data to avoid detection. Some commanders intentionally disabled surveillance to avoid becoming targets. The fear of being watched was worse than death. A special task unit was formed, built from cybernetically enhanced Sarlan predators. Creatures designed for perfect sensory combat in low-atmosphere environments. They were unleashed on a derelict moon near Zenthra, where movement had been detected. They broadcasted their confidence. Every channel heard it. The Empire made it a public event. 17 minutes later, silence. Rescue drones found the team curled around a campfire that hadn't been lit. No signs of violence. Just stopped hearts. Not one wound. Near them was a knife. Not Empire make. Ancient human steel. Cold forged. The words etched on the blade. You celebrated. An Empire fleet near the Caraxes Junction received a signal pinging from inside their command vessel's AI core. The engineers insisted that was impossible. AI cores were sealed, quantum-locked, yet the data spread, disabling all jump drives and locking weapons on our own support ships. No shots were fired. The fleet was left adrift. Every soldier aboard received a private message. It said, "Wrong fleet, wrong war." Word began to spread among lower ranks that this wasn't just revenge. It was exposure, a methodical dissection of every lie the Empire had built its power upon. The Boogeyman was killing belief. No one could trust their systems. No one could trust their training. Protocols failed. Networks failed. Sleep failed. The Empress convened her war council in secret, moving them to the Obsidian Citadel in deep orbit above Cleverax, the Empire's military heart. The entire fortress was shielded in triple-layer anti-electronic cloaking. No signal in, no signal out. It was the safest place in the galaxy. 20 minutes into the meeting, the lights went out. Power returned instantly. All systems stable. But in the center of the table, something had been left behind. A coin, Turin, minted decades ago from a country long dead. On one side, an eagle. On the other, a word, justice. No cameras had captured the entry. No breach. No motion alerts. But every leader present understood what it meant. There were no safe places. The next target was a fortress laboratory, hidden beneath the crust of a desert moon, accessible only by a coded warp gate. It was where the plasma lances used on Riley were first tested. 300 scientists, 2,000 soldiers, No civilians. No prisoners. It took 1 minute and 14 seconds to lose contact. When scouts arrived, they found the entire moon dark. The atmosphere processor had been deactivated. No sound. Inside, silence. All personnel dead. Heart rates flatlined simultaneously. A single phrase left on the main research server. What you make, you meet. Riley's name began appearing across systems. Not by hackers. Not by human effort. Star maps lit up with her signature, R77. It wasn't a call for help. It was a warning. Every time it showed up, something died. A relay station here. A shipyard there. No mass destruction, but precise, surgical, devastating fear. Desperate to regain control, the Empire broadcast across neutral channels, accusing Earth of terrorism, demanding surrender the individual responsible. Earth didn't answer. No messages. No movement. But 22 hours after Riley's return, another video arrived. Footage of Riley as a child. Unlisted. Unpublished. Playing in a grassy field. Laughing. The kind of footage only a family member would have. Then it cut to black. One line appeared. You made this personal. A major Empire war hero, Admiral Threx Vanna, known for his campaigns against Deathworlders, was found executed in his own war bunker. Autopsy confirmed cause of death as cerebral shutdown from extreme fear. Not poison. Not tech. Just fear. In the corner of the room, scorched into the floor with acid. You taught her fear. Now learn it. Treason swept the outer colonies. Governors aligned with Earth. Others defected. Fleet admirals issued private ceasefires. Entire units abandoned orders. One Empire-controlled planet, the former Terran colony of Altura, declared independence. It broadcast a simple message to the stars. The dead don't forgive. Neither do we. The Boogeyman had not fired a shot. He did not need to. The Empire's deadliest weapon had always been belief. And belief was being shattered system by system. Trust in command, in tech, in each other, fractured. The Imperial capital operated under full lockdown. Warships orbited the planet in tight formation, all civilian movement frozen, communication traffic throttled. Inside the Citadel, leadership debated protocols not used in centuries. Emergency succession plans, planetary escape routes, self-destruct codes for core AI. They no longer feared Earth. They feared the man Earth never claimed, the one Earth lost, the one Earth had never summoned, because he never needed summoning. Despite lockdowns, security sweeps, quantum encrypted barriers, the primary command vault opened without force. Guards were not harmed. They simply ceased to respond. Internal footage captured frames of static and flickers of shadow, inconsistent with known cloaking. No forced entry. No breach detection. Inside, the central war terminal was untouched. But the room's central console displayed one word in looping text. Learning yet? 3 more sectors collapsed the same day. Not by fire, not by invasion, but by voluntary surrender. Governors announced neutrality. Colonies removed imperial flags. Military officers stood down, claiming unidentifiable existential threats. Earth remained silent. The Boogeyman spoke with implication. Every act wasn't just destruction. It was reminder, humiliation, and warning. A key scientist involved in Project Flux, the prototype system that had developed the Empire's nerve disruptors, was found wandering the streets of a backwater colony. No memory of how she arrived. No signs of violence. But etched into her skin, in perfectly symmetrical scarring, were the coordinates of every base she had ever worked in. Not visible to the eye, only readable under old human ultraviolet light frequencies. Fleet Admiral Sorix attempted an unauthorized retreat. His ship, shielded under triple-level stealth, self-destructed at the edge of warp. Internal logs showed no breach, no sabotage. Only a line of corrupted code that read, "Not you, her." The Empress issued a direct decree. Operation Crimson Black. Total mobilization. Full strike order against Earth. No more waiting. If Earth would not turn him over, they would break the planet. 64 dreadnoughts were readied. 17 jump routes prepared. Orders were clear. Initiate planetary sterilization. 3 seconds after the order was issued, every targeting coordinate was erased. The systems were not hacked. They were rewritten. Navigation relays crashed synchronously. Launch permissions failed. AI core stalled. Not shut down, overridden. When the engineers pulled the logs, they found new root access entries. Every line of code signed by an old Terran military ID. The name listed Revenant. A whisper spread among the technicians. Earth hadn't sent him. Earth couldn't stop him. He didn't fight for flags, treaties, or missions. He fought for memory. For one girl. For a child whose name they never cared to learn. The Empress convened her emergency council again. Sealed in reinforced underground chambers shielded from all frequencies. Before she could speak, a light activated at the center of the room. A single hollow image. Riley's autopsy file. Highlighted, dated, labeled non-hostile civilian. Below it, a time-stamped message. You had all the information. You chose the outcome. No one spoke for several minutes. An elite commando unit was dispatched to Earth. They never arrived. Their last transmission wasn't a distress call. It was a child's voice whispering, "Go home," over open channels. The Boogeyman wasn't just hunting. He was shaping the battlefield. Riley was released from medical custody by neutral factions. No chains, no trial, no political terms. She was no longer just a victim. She was a fault line. Her survival had become a rallying point for those who had watched the Empire burn itself out. She spoke once to one journalist. "I didn't call him. They made him come." By the 30th hour, resistance had stopped. Not officially, but no commander gave new orders. No squads deployed. Every field report read the same. No targets, no enemy, no contact. Yet casualties continued. Quiet, clean, unexplained. In one of the Empire's black sites, a prison never listed, hidden on a fractured moon, 27 political prisoners vanished. Security footage never recorded intrusions. Yet inside every cell, a single object remained. A Terran book. Children's stories. Each bookmarked on the same tale. A knight rescuing his sister. The Empress finally gave a public address, calling the Boogeyman a terrorist, claiming the Empire was under attack by ancient darkness. But halfway through the broadcast, the signal cut. Her image replaced by archive footage. Her personally authorizing the execution of Riley. No distortion. No edits. Just truth. She never gave another speech. 3 senior admirals were executed by their own guards. Mutiny became protocol. Orders were reviewed, questioned, ignored. Fear had hollowed the command chain. The more they tried to act, the more obvious it became. They weren't fighting a man. They were surviving a consequence. The final confrontation did not come with armies or battles. It came quietly. He entered the Imperial Citadel. No alarm sounded. No soldiers blocked him. The doors opened. Every defense system paused. Not out of respect, but inevitability. He walked alone. Inside the throne chamber, the Empress waited unarmed, unable to flee. She asked him what he was. He replied, "I am what you created when you pulled that trigger." She demanded to know what he wanted. He said, "Balance." And he handed her a data chip. Names. Locations. Everyone responsible. No threats. Just accountability. She asked if that was all. He said, "No." He pulled a second chip. Every classified operation the Empire had ever conducted on Earth. Every betrayal. Every cover-up. The blueprint of Imperial rot. Then he turned and walked away. No guards moved. No systems engaged. By the time anyone entered the room, he was gone. Not a trace. Just silence. And a choice. The Empress disappeared within the day. Power shifted. Collapse accelerated. Factions broke off. Colonies formed new alliances. Some aligned with Earth. Others chose isolation. But none wore the Empire's colors again. Riley returned to Earth under protection of a coalition of neutral worlds. No charges filed. No interrogations. Her case had become too radioactive. Her presence too symbolic. She said nothing publicly. She walked through customs, alone, and disappeared. Years passed. The Boogeyman was never seen again. No images, no transmissions. But his impact reshaped the galaxy. The Empire was dead, not by force, but by exposure. They shot a girl, and in return, they were shown everything they were. He didn't burn cities. He burned illusions. He didn't scream. He whispered, and the galaxy listened. Now, children in far-off worlds ask if he's real. They whisper his name during storms. They talk of a man who comes not when humans are attacked, but when they are erased. And every government, no matter how powerful, no matter how advanced, leaves one rule carved into foundations of their law. Never harm a human child, because if you do, he comes.